Mitch, what's up?
So I had to come in on this after that Butler guy. I'm a lifelong Xavier fan. It sounds like a lot of people here kind of maybe don't go back as far as I do. I'm going back to Schmidt Fieldhouse. What I will tell
Okay.
you is this, because this is so funny when that dude was talking about Butler singing these songs about Xavier or whatever. It's cracked me up because this reminds me so much of David West's senior year when Dayton played at the Cintas and West went off for like 49 or something like that. All these Dayton fans rolled in with these shirts that they had made that were like Dayton shirts, and they said "Beat Xavier" on the back. They like had made these shirts, and I was sitting there like, what is wrong? Like I'm going back to the MCC, all these other times with Dayton, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Like, I don't really care about Dayton this much. I care about Xavier moving on. Well, flash forward, the A10 tournament was in UD Arena that year. We go up. Xavier's the 1 seed. I think Dayton was the 2. So Xavier tips at like 6:30. Dayton's tipping after that. We get up there at 6:30, like a half hour before the game goes. The place is packed. Every friggin' Dayton fan is in this gym ready to root against Xavier. I'm like, what? They're wearing, this is the best part. They're wearing the Beat Xavier shirts, but they took masking tape and they put it over the UD logo and had written Temple on it because we were playing Temple. And I'm like, I'm literally looking at these dudes next to me. I'm like, are you guys freaking serious? And they're like, oh, typical Xavier fan. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm like coming to watch a game. Well, so Temple wins that game. They like the place. I mean, UD is loud. I mean, there might have been, I don't know, 2,000 Xavier fans there. What does UD Arena hold? 13? So like 11,000 Dayton fans are going crazy for Temple in that game. And I'm like, I walked out of that thing and I'm like, this is the biggest bunch of friggin' losers in the world. Like, I get it, but like if you're that inferior that you're like putting your life around this like this, like, come on. When I watched that game against Butler on Friday night, like I was thinking about going to that game. I hop on SeatGeek or whatever, and tickets are going for like 160 in the upper deck. And I'm going like, Butler sucks. They're getting pounded by everybody this year. Like, what is this? Then I turn the game on, so we don't go. I'm like, I'm not going to pay that kind of money to go to Hinkle. I turn the game on, and they're like, we're here at Hinkle at a sold-out arena. And I'm like, you've got to be friggin' kidding me. I'm like, this is Dayton all over again. Like, these are people, and it's no love lost to that Butler guy, but it's like, if you're like literally living your life to win this one game, that says more about where your program is than anything else. Now, I will say this. There was a time when Butler and Xavier, I do feel like it was a rivalry, and you referenced it. It was the Kenny Freeze game when I wanted so badly to beat friggin' Kansas State in the Sweet 16 to get another shot at them because I was like, we're going to beat them in the Elite Eight. And, of course, we saw what happened there. We lose. We wore Kansas State out. Butler goes to the final, whatever. The next year, they came to the Cintas, and it was actually a really good game. It was on that 24 hours of basketball, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. They came in, and they were really good, and it was a freaking great game, and Xavier was a little down because they had lost, like, I guess it was Holloway was the only one that was left. And Xavier won that game, and I'm like, all right, this is kind of cool now. This feels like a rivalry. And I guess when they came into the Big East, it kind of felt that way, but the reality of it is Butler hasn't really done anything outside of the first couple years in the Big East, so now it's kind of like whatever. And it's not, I mean, you can say all you want about a rivalry, but the only way it's a rivalry is if it actually means something to beat that team both ways. Like, when Butler rolls back into the Cintas, Xavier's going to level them by like 25 to 30. I'm telling you, they're going to. That's not a rivalry. Like, you've got to actually be a team that matters. And that's the same way it was with Dayton forever. And the fact of the matter is, and I'll come correct on every MF and Butler fan out there and Dayton fans, this goes all the way back, not to the Horizon, but to the MCC when it had like 7 freaking teams, right? Xavier
Yeah.
started this trek in 86 when Pete Gillen got there, and they won in 87 against Missouri, and the rest is history, right? Butler was in the MCC back then. And back when the Atlantic 10 decided that they're going to grab a couple teams, guess who they grabbed? They grabbed Dayton and they grabbed Xavier, and they left Butler behind. Evansville went to the Mo Valley, and Butler was left in the horizon. And they did a good job out of there, so much so that, God love them, they got to leapfrog Dayton and come into the Big East. But they're all riding on Xavier's coattails, all of them. I don't care what any of them say. I don't care what any of them do. That's the fact. So when I hear, it was so funny when that dude was like, yeah, we say beat Xavier. That is like so hilarious. Like that says more about your program than any other program. And honestly, to the Xavier fans out there, this is kind of what it was like back in the 80s and definitely in the 90s when we would play UC. Because UC didn't give a shit. They came in and they'd be like, yo, we're number one. Like the girl in 99. I was at that game when Satterfield was there and Dermar Johnson. That game was sick. But UC was number one, and they didn't even want to play that game against us. It meant everything to us. And the only other game that Friday night reminded me of was like, I think 96 when Calipari and UMass came into the Gardens, and Xavier wasn't any good, and it was like a CBS game or an ABC game on a Saturday, and we sold the friggin' joint out, and we played our hearts out. We were like a 500 team at the time. But like UMass was like, we don't care. And that's kind of where we are with this. So it's kind of cool. I get it. But I mean, rivalry, give me a freaking break.
Mitch, I got to ask, how long have you been saving that up?
I just like, when that dude was saying that, I'm like, come on, man. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you came to, like, the Butler fans are, whatever.
I just had to give him an applause.
To everybody listening to this has been a friggin' process since 1986, really before that with Bob Stack. I mean, we have worked on building this program for so friggin' long. And like Butler, you had your couple of years. It was awesome. But where are you with it? You're not moving forward, right? Like this Xavier team, this has been a long-ass process that Dayton and friggin' Butler and any of the other ones, you haven't worked it the way that Xavier has. So the reason we're your rival is because you want to be us. And we could care less about you. And that's it.
There are certain times as a broadcaster where you have to know to just step out of the way and let things play out. And I believe we took that call from Mitch at 9:23.
Yep.
And that man just went hard for about 6.5 minutes, nonstop.
I muted my mic.
Zero
I knew
breath.
where that was going. I muted my mic.
That was incredible, first of all. Second of all, I'd like to fill in a detail here. UD Arena seats 13,409 people. Just to add that detail in there.
13,000, right? I was
you were right on. Yeah, you were dead on.
Thank you.
So, Mitch, it sounds like you agree with my thought that this Butler thing kind of has the potential to become the new UD.
It's 100% the new UD, and I think it got me on Friday. Like it got me. I was not ready for that, and I was like, you know what? And I'm like, dude, I am a friggin' Sean Miller disciple. That dude is the real friggin' deal, and I could go an hour about why that guy is so good. It got him. He was not ready for that. And that's okay. None of us were. And I think Sean wasn't ready for it. And Sean, even I saw it early. I could see it. I could see Sean being like, mother effer, this is UD. God damn it. And he'll figure it out, and they'll be fine moving forward. But like, it does kind of go back to, I do feel that Xavier has been this way towards Villanova, nowhere near as bad. But Villanova's been the team that we come out for every year, right? And everybody that's been to all those Nova games knows, man, like the Cintas Center's on fire. Like, it takes big-time performances and big-time shots to win, and Villanova's always been able to do it, just like St. Joe's did back that one year when, like, Delonte West went, I think, 13 for 13 for the field. Like, Xavier didn't do that. They didn't have that in them on Friday. They'll be fine going forward because now that they know. But, yeah, it's the new UD, period. That's what it is. And the Atlantic 10, Xavier wasn't measuring themselves with Dayton. They were measuring themselves with Temple originally and then St. Joe's and UMass before UMass fell apart. So, I mean, it's like, whatever. I mean, that's kind of cool. I guess if you're a Xavier fan, you should say, hey, man, it's kind of cool that people are looking up to us like they're our little brother. That's how far this program has come, which is really cool. But, like, give me a friggin' break, rival. Whatever.
This spaces
one
have
last
gone
thing,
way better than I
I'm
expected.
going to leave it on this. The last court storming, I think I hit this up, but the last court storming was not in 99. Maybe the last home game, 05, US Bank Arena, Sean Miller. Xavier wins 4 games in 4 days to win the A-10 tournament, sneak into the NCAA tournament as a 14 seed. They did rush that court. That's the last time.
Okay.
Peace out.
Wow.